Welcome back to the Imaginary Gallery. It's TJ, your host. Tonight's topic is regarding the narcissist and boundaries, or lack thereof. The narcissist, or other cluster B creature, doesn't have any boundaries itself, nor does it have any real respect for yours. Now, this may be confusing if you just recently become involved with such a creature, because at the beginning it will appear that the creature in question does respect all of your boundaries, but that's only temporary. In the beginning usually involves mirroring, which means they take on your habits. So if, for example, you go to a restaurant, you have some paper from your gum you're putting in your mouth, you may say, oh, hold on, I've got to go to the trash can so I can throw this away, I don't want to litter. That will be like a clue, so the creature will then think, oh, I'll do the same thing, and then they'll go out of their way to do something very similar. Yes, they will copy you, and that can be confusing and can make you think you found somebody just like yourself. What I'm going to do this evening is give you a few examples of what no boundaries actually looks like in the form of a real story. Several years ago, before the days of the internet, I had done some dating in the personals and like the back of the free local city paper, met a specific creature in real life. Looking back at it now, it appears this one was using the techniques they use by watching everything I do and then trying to mirror it as best as they can. They usually don't get it right though. This one was kind of questionable. I was interested in meeting new people and thought that was some new modern way to do it, and hung out with the creature a few times and started to notice little things that have nothing to do with cluster B, or maybe they do. The lack of self-care. This person said that it hadn't been to a dentist in years, and it always had a piece of butterscotch candy in its mouth all the time, which I imagine was to conceal the rotten stench inside. My thoughts on that would be, if you haven't gone for any dental care in years and you're keeping sugar-filled candy in your mouth at all times, you're adding insult to injury. It would be impolite just to say, oh, because you have rotten this, I'm leaving. I didn't really notice the rot, but it just is something I thought of. This one I remember when I moved into a new building that was secured with locks. You had to have a key. This creature showed some red flags by saying things like, oh, I don't need you to buzz me in, I can get in any building I want to. I thought, okay, that's nice to know. So I would hang out with this creature, and at one point there was a friend of mine I'd known for years that I needed to go visit for some purpose. I happened to be with this creature at the time, so I said, well, I've got to go by so-and-so's house so I can do whatever I had to do. So we went together. This creature had never met the friend. I introduced them, this is so-and-so, and they shook hands. We visited for a little while, and that was the first time they'd ever met each other. After this, I started to notice more and more things about this creature that didn't seem to be just right. So I kind of pulled away, like I didn't respond as much to phone calls, didn't make any plans as often, kind of cut the contact down somewhat. Well, this creature was not giving up. What the creature did, somehow got a hold of that friend of mine behind my back. Maybe just showed up and knocked on the door, but regardless, their phone numbers had been exchanged in some way. The friend of mine one weekend came down with a cold. Well, then I found out later that this creature that I had not been speaking with, it found itself over at that same apartment that I brought it to, bringing oranges and chicken noodle soup. Now, isn't that sweet? Well, that's one of those things that love bombing includes, which complete stranger you met once, you heard it's got a cold, and then you're over there with remedies for it, or supposed remedies for it. That is a violation of boundaries. It's kind of like a revenge type thing. Well, if you're not going to call me, I'm going to go over to your friend's house and pursue that person. It was just eerie and yucky for it to do such a thing. Similar case happened with another creature I was out with some other friends. This was the day before cell phones, and this creature brought a real camera and was snapping photos of all of us all evening, doing small talk with the other people that this person didn't know. Turns out, discussion was, oh, where do you work? It turned out to be a public restaurant. So this creature then went on its own to that public restaurant and said, oh, hi, remember the other night? I've got some pictures for you, and gave pictures. That seems friendly, but when it's these creatures, it's downright evil. It's stepping over boundaries, because they don't even know these other people. Sure, they might have met them, but it's just awkward when they try to take over, and many times will gang up with them and talk about you if you're not doing what they want you to do, which is never good. Another type of example I've noticed too, you meet some new person and you've been burned by a narcopath recently, so you talk and the person talks more to you and seems interested, and then you say, hey, wait, you're looking for some kind of date or something, I'm not really interested in that. They will, like I said before, mirror the,
oh, that's okay, I'm not either. Oh, I just want to talk to you.
And then, of course, they'll continue. But these creatures don't understand what it means to be a real person. Because if you're saying you don't want to get involved with anyone, and you're a real person, well, that means what you said. But these creatures use such lines from one way to the complete opposite, such as to person number one, they'll say,
oh, I'm not looking for a relationship, let's have some fun.
And then to person number two,
I want to get married, I want to be with you forever.
And this is all in the same week. That's how these creatures work. So you could never pinpoint that person and get one viewpoint on what this person's all about. Because if you grab 5 people, one would say,
that person wants to marry me.
And the other one would say,
that person never wants to get married.
And the third one would go, they're just all different stories because these creatures have a different tale for each person, their own compartment. I've seen many occasions where I've been in that situation. And I've just said, if you want to hang out for fun, it's great, but don't be expecting any kind of romance or anything. And then they'll be like, okay with it at first, but then I think one of them delayed because I told them during my talks about why I felt this way, because it's like I met this one person and after one night they were asking to move in and it was ridiculous. We don't even know each other and I don't know. And so this person probably slowed down its technique because it didn't jump in right away, but it waited a few weeks and then it started claiming love and all this stuff. And it's like, do you even know my middle name? No. Fool. But you're in love. You want to get married. Oh, okay. They will overstep those boundaries too. Probably they think that you're just saying that for the moment, but they're going to convince you otherwise. And it's a common tactic of these people to say,
oh, you don't want to get involved. Why? Because someone hurt you? Well, I'll prove to you I'm nothing like that person.
And then if you tell them what the horrible person did,
oh, I never do that.
Oh, the person did this.
Oh, I never do that. I would never treat you that way.
And they talk like they're all for you. Memorize these moments if you get involved with a creature, because down the line they're going to do an about face, and none of this stuff will even seem like it's real. It'll seem like it was with somebody else, because it was a masked creature. Yes, they'll try to overstep those boundaries, so if you say, look, if you want to be a casual friend, fine, I'm all for that, then they'll start the,
I just can't help it, I feel this way. I've fallen in love with you.
And they'll then try to make it your obligation then to make it right by tossing your boundaries aside and just say, well, since you fell in love, I guess I better forget what I'm all about and what I want and don't want. I'll just have to give you what you want. They do try such tactics. They'll lay it on thick. They'll do all that love-bombing crap, all the idealization designed to prove to you how great they are. And sometimes their efforts are so great, it seems like this can't be real. Nobody's that friendly.
Oh, yes, this is just who I am.
Which is one of their lines, which later you learn is not the case. This is who they are when you are the target and they want something out of you. Otherwise, they're a rotten, evil witch. But that's an example of them not respecting your boundaries. If you do respect someone's boundaries and you meet them, like if I did, if I met some person, and let's say I was hot to trot to marry someone, which let's just say I was, and I met a person who said, oh, I'm not like that, I'm not interested in that, I've got 6 lovers or something, I would say, oh, okay, oh, I see then. And I wouldn't even pursue that further. But these creatures think, if they're cluster bees, that they can have it anyway. So they'll say, really? Well, I'll show you I'm better than all those others. They try to convince the other person of that, which is, I think, sickening because they're headed for failure. They think that they can alter reality and change that person's viewpoint. That shows, again, no respect for their boundaries. It's like, well, I have my needs and that's all that matters, so who cares about what you want? I'm after you. And I'll lay it on thick with gifts, flowers, candy, and food, and whatever else that's supposed to manipulate you into feeling guilty and thinking, oh, maybe I'm being too hard. This person's just really nice. Maybe I should give them a chance. With these creatures, it's nothing but a game. They just want to get what they're not supposed to have. And of course, once they have it, then we start into the next phase after idealization, which is they start to devalue you. My view is that it's either when you figure them out for what they are, then they start to devalue you. You turn it into you're pointing out their fakery. Like if you see they're wearing a mask, you might say, look, your mask is slipping. I know what you're like. You're nothing like this that you're saying you are. Then they will take that as you are insulting them. You're putting them down. You are being mean to them. And then they'll tell people,
oh, he's so mean to me. He told me I wasn't a real person.
You're not, is the proper response to that. Most of the people that hear it don't say that. They should just move along, find the next target, but if they find something in you that they think would be profitable, it's like a risk to them, and they love to take risks, so they'll try to convince you. They think to themselves,
I can break this one. I'll just give a bunch of gifts. That'll show them.
which I think is sickening because they'll do that and they think they're winning points, but really I'm just usually thinking that they're trying too hard. They're not doing this stuff for anybody else. It's not the way they are, because they try to make you believe this is just who I am as a person, which would mean that they do these things for everyone, which they don't. But it's interesting how so many use the same technique when they've found you to be the target they're after for whatever reason, and they'll try to step over those boundaries. If you give them a chance, like, look, I told you how it is, we can hang out, but that's it. It's like a game to them. They want to break you. They want to make you give in to what they're trying for. And then it does weigh on you if you have emotions, empathy, and so on, because you will start to think, oh my goodness, this person is trying all these techniques. Like I've described long ago, it's like there's a force field surrounding you. They are trying to get in there so they can take over, or like stepping in one bit, get pushed out, and stepping in again, trying with their different techniques they do. Like if you've made a boundary such as, Mondays are mine, they're my free time to do what I want. I sometimes do nothing and just stay here alone and read, write, or I might visit a family member, or whatever it is. Then they will slowly try to infiltrate Monday, and they'll be,
oh, I know that you're busy Mondays, but I've got 2 tickets for the show. If you want to go, we can go.
They try those types of things, all innocent-like, and yet you're in a force field. In my case, at least with recent one, I think this is a tactic to try to overstep a boundary. You don't ever want to say that, though, because then they'll be like,
oh, well, you think you're so special? I was just trying to be nice, and it happened to be on Monday. Oh, you're crazy.
And they try to make it out like you're imagining things, but no, you're not. Or no, I wasn't, at least. Which time ended up revealing,
later on,
it was a complete fraud.
I am the Narcopath, and I'm getting sick of not getting what I want.
I wanted a child to extract some adrenochrome from. That goddamn next team promised me that they'd have it here, and nothing. Oh, hold on.
Hello? Nexium? Hold on.
Call off the firing brigade, they called.
It's about time, goddammit. Where is my cheese or child or whatever you want to call it? My torture chamber is ready. Oh. Really? Thank you very much.
I'll be right back. Oh, honey. You look so much better with the wig I gave you. I know you can't speak. I know that you were simply created just for my purposes. You don't even have a name, do you? You can't even talk, can you? Well, honey, you don't need to. Why don't you say hi to the people out there?
Don't be looking in the camera. They're going to see you, witch.
You will do what I say. Do you understand? I've been waiting forever for you. So don't you give me any litmus-y. I think your brains will taste rather nice. You don't know what that means, do you? You stupid fool. I had this creature delivered as living art, because I have a fake art gallery. I order expensive things, and I have diplomatic immunity. I can have creatures like this cunt sent to me without any interference with the customs. As far as that goes, TSA is another story. I have fun with those people. Don't you even pay attention, witch. I've been dressing up like a Muslim, going on flights, and the TSA always want to put their fingers down my cracks, and I love it. I deliberately stuff some stuff up in there so they can dig it out. It's the highlight of my day. In fact, I want to get a job there so I can feel up people all day. Better than being a stripper. I had to give half my money doing that to the owner, and he caught me when I started stealing some of it and stuffing it down my Virginia. He saw it fall out and he threw a fit and I had to quit. But you will never make it as a stripper, you witch. You are my property. I said don't look over there. Don't you pay attention to that stuff. Are you listening to me? Do I have to kill... Never mind her. Another one's coming next week. I am the Narcopath, and I'm the one for you.
And the sky was made of amethyst. And don't
again. When they get what they want, you may never want it again. When they get what they want, you may never want it again. Go on, take everything I want. Go on, take everything I dare you. I told you from the start just how this would end.